Hello friends, welcome to Code Semantic and welcome to the video tutorial of Entity Framework. We are studying Code First approach. So this video will cover how to configure your domain classes using data annotation method. Before this we saw a default Code First convention, okay, and we saw the limitations of Code First convention. So to overcome that limitation we are going to use data annotation to configure our domain classes. So let us see what is data annotation first. You can say a data annotation is a very broad concept in .NET and we are going to study it in context of code first approach. Okay, so basically in broad sense you can say data annotation in .NET framework add extra meaning to the data by adding attribute tag. I hope all of you are familiar with attributes in .NET. So whenever attributes are nothing but a classes, but whenever you want to apply that attributes, you generally enclose it in square bracket and then you put it on your class name or property name or method name. Okay, so this data annotation basically add an extra meaning to your data. The advantage of using data annotation feature is that by applying data attribute, we can manage the data definition in single place and do not need to rewrite the same rule in multiple places. Now, what is the meaning of this statement? See, basically, we specify data annotation in the form of attributes. As I told, attributes are specified over your property in square bracket or above your class in the square bracket or above your method. So whenever you are going to use that method or whenever you are going to use that data, what happened, that extra meaning that you specified in the form of attribute, that will also be considered. Okay, so just you have to specify that attribute over your property, over your class, and whenever you use that class or property in your code, that extra information will all automatically considered by your .NET framework. So I hope you understand this. Now now let us study data annotation in the context of entity framework. So as I told you, we are going to use data annotation to configure our model classes or domain classes by adding a metadata or attribute to the class or its properties. Okay. Now what is the advantage of using data annotation? So basically we had some limitation with code first convention approach. Okay, so to overcome that limitation we use data annotation. So whatever that you cannot do with default code first convention, that is possible with data annotation. And what data annotation does, it overrides the default code first convention. Now what is the meaning of this? Basically if you do not specify data annotation, default code first convention works. And if you specify the data annotation, in that case your default code convention will be ignored and whatever you specified in the form of data annotation, that will be considered by your entity framework. So it overrides the behavior of your default code first convention. Okay, and definitely we can use the combination of both. Okay, you can use default code first convention and whatever things that you cannot do with code first convention, you can define it with data annotation. So we can use combination of both. Now let us see the categories of data annotation. So basically your data annotation attributes falls in two categories depending on the functionality provided by them. So first category is data modeling attribute and the second category is validation attribute. So let us see these attributes in detail. So let us first of all concentrate on data modeling attribute. So basically these attributes specify the schema of the database. Now schema means what is going to be a table name, what is going to be a column name, that kind of things are defined by this data modeling attributes. And these attributes are present in this namespace, that is system.componentModel.data annotations.schema. And these are the attributes on left hand side and this is the description. Means suppose we in default code first convention we observe that whatever is your class name, your table name will be the pluralized form of class name. Okay, means if my table class name is employee, my table name is going to be employees. My table name is going to be employees. So this is the code first convention. But if you want to override that behavior, you want to assign some different name to your table, okay, in that case you can use this table attribute. Definitely we are going to see this part practically also, so it will be very helpful for you to understand. Even we can alter the column name, we can specify the different data types, so these things can be achieved with the help of column attribute. Then suppose you want to set any foreign key. Again, we already studied the default behavior for the foreign key, but if you want to explicitly specify anything which has a different name, in that case we can use foreign key attribute. And again, one more attribute is there, not mapped. Suppose you do not want to map any particular property to database column. In that case, you can apply this not mapped attribute. Actually, mistakenly I listed this part in a default code first convention. It should appear in a data annotation. So remember this thing. Okay. So these four are the main attributes in data modeling category. So again, there are some advanced attribute also, but first of all we are going to study this basic attribute, and for that advanced attribute I am going to create a separate video. Okay. Now the next category is validation attribute. So what are these validation attribute? These attributes are used to enforce validation rules for the entity properties. For example, you can specify the size, you can specify the nullability, as well as you can specify the primary key. So if you want to enforce any validation, in that case you will use this validation attributes. So these attributes resides in system.componentModel.data annotation namespace. Okay, previous one resides in data annotations.schema, whereas validation attributes resides in data annotations only. So let us see what are the validation attributes. Again, I listed it in the form of table. So these are the attributes and this is the description of it. So first attribute is key attribute, which is used to specify a primary key for your table name. See, many times what it happens, we are unable to follow the code first convention. Okay, what is the code first convention for primary key? The name should be ID or class name plus ID. If I am unable to follow that convention, suppose I want to give totally a different name to my primary key, in that case we can convey this information to entity framework with the help of this key attribute. Okay, so this allows you to specify a different name to your property or primary key property. Okay, now the next attribute is required. Now again, in default code first convention we studied that all the reference types and nullable data types are nullable in the database. Okay, but suppose for my reference type, for example string, okay, string is reference type, right? For string, what happens, it get mapped as a nullable column, but I want to set it to not null column. In that case, what I can do, I can put this required attribute to impose that restriction. In that case, my reference type of data will also be considered as non-nullable. Now the next one is max length. Okay, basically these three properties are very similar: max length, mean length and string length. What these properties allows, if you are using any string type of data and in that case you want to specify the column size, in that case you can go with this max length, mean length and string length. Basically with the help of max length you can specify what is the maximum length. With mean length you will specify what is the minimum length of data, and with the help of string length we can specify both the values. So basically whenever we want to specify both the values minimum and max, we go with string length instead of specifying these two attributes. Okay, so we are going to see the practical implementation of this, and for that I am going to create a second part of this concept Okay, so in the another video we are going to see the practical implementation of the same. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you have any questions or doubts, you can definitely write it to me. And if you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.